Listen to this. Listen to this.
Absolutely, 100%. And the online lead, that hit it and quit it is the crack cocaine for real estate agents. Because you feel like that when somebody calls you or you make a connection, like it's a hit. Like it's a hit. And you keep getting that, but it's so diluted and you got to get so much of it to get to the finish line.
Hit it and quit it marketing, buying leads is like the crack cocaine in the real estate industry. They buy leads from Zillow, just like contractors buy leads from HomeAdvisor, Angie's List, Thumbtack, Porch, you name it. That was Glenda Baker, one of the most preeminent, and she's called the Michael Jordan of real estate out of Atlanta. She has grown tremendously fast and doesn't do a single bit of lead generation or buying leads from lead gen services. We're going to talk about and break down in this video why it's the exact same thing in the painting industry and what we can do to fix it. Let me show you another clip about why exactly this is a problem.
And then in the long term, this is what the biggest pain point is everybody feels they're on the roller coaster. Everybody feels they're on the hamster wheel. And it's like, of course you're on the hamster wheel because you're chasing business. You haven't built a business that attracts. The only way to build a business that attracts is you have to be frequently out in front of people with valuable pieces of information, giving to them, and then building credibility and trust.
That was Luke Ackery and Josh Stike over at Reminder Media having a podcast with Glenda Baker. I highly recommend you check it out. But there are two golden nuggets in there which really hits on lead gen and why it's bad. But it's not just bad for real estate, it is also horrible for contracting companies. And one thing that has started to seep in and preeminate the industry is the idea of buying leads from these lead gen services. 20 years ago, this stuff didn't exist. How do you think people got business back then? Believe it or not, we're starting to switch back to what's happening. History is starting to repeat itself. At this point, we're starting to move back away from lead gen and the idea of buying leads and moving back into building trust with your community and becoming the preeminent authority in your community when it comes to your particular service, which we're talking about painting companies here today. This is a base general idea in marketing, and the idea of buying leads, which is like crack cocaine, hit it and quit it for these guys where they have no relationship. They're not actually searching for you. They're not actually looking out for you. You are just one of many who are about to get a call from these people. The idea that you would entrust these lead generation services with the livelihood of your employees, of your contractors, and of your family, frankly, is terrifying. And I would never feel comfortable running my business or leaving my business to go on a vacation where I know that all of the 100% of my income is reliant on these other services. In another video, we talk about why it's important to own your marketing, but here we're going to talk about why it's bad, which we just covered, and next, how to fix it. Here is how to fix this problem. If you are a business right now that's currently built your entire business off of lead gen services such as HomeAdvisor, Thumbtack, Angie's List, other things like that, then we have some work to do. But don't be afraid, we can absolutely fix this. This is 100%, we can come back from this, like it's not a done deal, it is not over yet. But don't get me wrong, it will come full circle soon, if not later, like sooner if not later. The other key part here is that none of the existing preeminent contractors in their space rely on these companies. They don't at all. They generate demand through their own relationship building, marketing, and advertising practices that they do in their own market. They're doing things like sponsoring things in their market. They're doing things like investing and getting involved in the community. And they're doing things like creating useful and entertaining content online, which is putting them in front of their market consistently and staying top of mind. This is the way it's supposed to be. And it's the way my grandfather built his business in like the 1940s, how he had like a lawnmower sharpening business, which he grew to being very, very large. Even to the point where after he had passed, I met my wife's grandfather and he recognized my last name and he said, "Are you Claire's boy?" I said, yeah, how do you know my grandfather? And he said, literally, if you're in like a 3-hour radius around where he lived, you knew about my grandfather, especially if you were a man who did household chores and different things like that, because he had worked so hard to build a brand. And this was before the internet ever existed. Now, the reason why this is important is because now that the internet exists, we can speed that process up tremendously without compromising on the integrity or the values behind that system that made it so powerful in the first place. Here's step 1. Start to build a system where you can generate your own leads and your own demand. As I mentioned earlier, getting involved in your community. If you're a smaller business in the $250,000 range or lower, we recommend really getting into what we call hustle marketing, which is getting involved into your marketplace, starting to make a name for yourself. You as the owner, this is your number one responsibility and your number one goal. You're responsible for one thing, which is the revenue or the oxygen to your business. And to do that, you've got to get your business out there in front of more people, however you can. Some tricks and tactics that I can recommend is yard signs, uniforms, good old-fashioned pounding the pavement, door to door, different things like that are ways that you can start to get in front of people who need your service. But also getting involved with your community, joining a BNI, joining different networking groups, gaining referral partners, and starting to actually network with your community can get you to that $250,000 mark and above. Once you're at that point, you're at the point where you can comfortably start to build a system that's going to consistently put your business in front of people where they're looking, like their cell phone. By creating content that is useful and entertaining to your market and to your target audience, which you can learn more about somewhere, some links somewhere in this video, you're going to be able to start presenting yourself to your market in a way that's going to build brand and it's going to start to differentiate you from your competitors, who, keep in mind, all your competitors aren't doing this. They're buying leads from HomeAdvisor. So take the opportunity while it's still here and start to build those systems. The next part after that, like they're talking about, is start to implement a relationship style marketing strategy where we're not only looking for leads that are ready to buy right this second, but rather we're operating as a very real business which handles transactions with real people, and we sell to them in the way that they buy, which means we're helping to nurture the process. This is a sales process, and this is the number one differentiator between a multi-million-dollar painting business and a tiny mom and pop owner-operator painting business, is the ability to take leads and to know what to do with them. If you want more information about how to make this happen in your business, you can always click the link anywhere around this video and schedule a free consultation session with yours truly. Hope you have a great rest of the day.